What is going on, cousins? How are y'all doing? I hope everyone is doing amazing. I hope you guys had an amazing day, or if you are just starting your day and you're watching this video, I hope you have an awesome day. So today I wanted to come to you guys and share with you, a little bit too much. I want to share with you guys my Hermes experience in Paris, France at the flagship store. I watched a ton of videos before going for the second time. The first time that I went, I don't think I was ready to make this type of purchase, or I wasn't ready to ask for that type of purchase. But the second go around, I knew that I wanted to at least try. The stories that I've heard is have $10,000 to $20,000 of a purchase history. It's really hard to get an appointment. 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, you're going to strike out. Everyone has had similar stories and similar experiences. I would say that my experience was a little bit different and is by far the best experience I've had purchasing a handbag. So here's the story. So I knew that you had to, they changed their system. There was no longer standing outside and lining up for an appointment. That did not exist anymore. You now have to go online, and there's a special website that you can only do from your cell phone. You have to go online, put in your information as well as your passport to identify that you are not a citizen of France. And that morning, you have to do all of that morning, and by 7:30, 7:45 that evening, their time, they will let you know if you have an appointment or not. My story is, I'm missing a nail, I know. I want to take these off because I kind of hate them. But my story is, my husband and I applied on 3 different occasions. So that means that there were 6 applications. They all were denied. Every single one of them were denied. So technically, we did not have an appointment. So after the last denial, I was like, okay, it's whatever. So I said, you know, it's not going to happen this go around. We went to Chanel. I couldn't find anything. We went to Dior. We went to Louis Vuitton. We went to, oh my God, we went to so many different stores, and nothing really made my heart sing. Nothing really stood out to me that was, I felt like was me. And I knew that this go around, just like the last time I went to Paris, I scored an Evelyn 30, I think. And I purchased a So Black Chanel flap. So this go around, and those things, they spoke to my heart, and nothing really jumped out at me. So I said, well, let's go back to Hermes the next day. And I knew I wanted to get the Oran sandals, which I showed you guys, I believe. So I said, let me go there and let me at least get that. So when you first walk in, there's like hostesses that are standing at the door. They're greeting you. Very nice, very friendly. The security is very friendly. So I told them what I wanted. I went upstairs. The salesperson that helped me there, she was able to you know, answer some questions, but she only works in shoes, so that's all that she can do. So I was able to purchase the shoes. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Little did I know, my husband had gone downstairs when he was supposed to be using the restroom. He went downstairs and asked them, was there any way that he can get an appointment, because we had several denials. So they said, come back at 4. Maybe someone would have canceled by then, and then we can get you guys in. So I purchased the shoes, and as we're leaving, and this is that morning, my husband tells me this, and I'm freaking out. Like, I am legit freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, is there a possibility? Does this happen? Because everyone is saying if you don't have an appointment, don't go. It's not a possibility. I had never heard of anyone until recently, being able to shop for a handbag without an appointment. So I'm just like, okay, I'm nervous, and I know, guys, this is just a handbag. I completely understand. I get, you know, some people are not going to get this whole phenomenon about these handbags, but some people are. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and take her out. I still don't have a name for her yet. She's actually been in this box since the last time that I showed you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and take her out while I talk. I hope it's not too noisy. I'll try to be soft with it. So he was like, okay, let's go to Gallery Lafayette. Let's walk around there, see if there's anything that piques our interest. And he said that, and then we'll leave there and try to go back around that time. So we stayed, and we had something to eat. And of course, you know, I couldn't really eat like talking about it, but I did. We had a good dinner, some Asian food. So I said, look at her. Oh, and I'm actually going to take this off while during this video. So he's like, okay, I need to turn it a little bit so you guys can see. Oh. So he's like, okay, you know, we're gonna go back, see what's what. If they have an appointment, you know, good. If not, at least we can say that we tried. So I said, okay. So around 3:15, we start hightailing it back to Hermes. So we walked, yeah, we walked the whole way, and it probably took about, you know, 25 minutes or so, but we're just luxuriating, right? We're just taking our time and talking, and we're talking through, you know, what if I'm able to get something, what are my colors, you know, what am I going to ask for? And at that point, I just knew that I wanted a pop of color. There are colors that I'm not 100% on, and that would be purple, yellow, and orange. Those are colors that not really my zhuzh, you know. If I had to choose, I would not choose them. So we get there, we walk in, the hostesses remember us from 2 days prior, because no, we went there, we had already gone 2 days in a row. So that person, he recognized, he was like, hey, you guys are back. And you know, it's hustling and bustling around there, but it's not like it's organized chaos. It doesn't seem very like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do it. It doesn't seem like that. It just seems like people are moving, they're shaking, you know, they're getting things done. So he walks over to the hostess, and he's like, hey, you know, I was told to come back at 4 to see if you had any cancellations, yada yada yada. So it's a different lady that's up there now, and she's like, oh no, we don't have any cancellations. So he comes over, and because I kind of walked away. Because I was just so nervous. So he walks over, and he just shakes his head, and I'm like, okay. So I had that disappointment, so I'm like, all right, let's go. So I look at him, and you know, okay, let's go. And he gave me this look like, nah, this ain't. You've been wanting this for years. This is not gonna work. This ain't, So then he walks over there again, and he's like, look, we have had several cancellations. I understand that we may not be able to get a Birkin or a Kelly or something like that, but there was a her bag that I looked at that I was like, oh, that one is nice. You know, I could definitely do that. And that'll kind of ease me in to see if that I even want a Kelly or something like that. So I was like, I would take that if I had an option. So he was like, my wife just wants to get this bag right here. Is there any way that we can just get this bag without actually having an appointment? So there is a salesperson who's standing close to her, and she's hearing my husband talk to the hostess. Hold on. So there is a hostess that is standing nearby. I'm sorry. There is one of the CAs, the sales assistants, standing close to the hostess whom my husband is speaking to. And she walks over and she's like, oh, you guys are just wanting this bag around the corner. She told the hostess something in French, and she was like, I'll help them. So then my husband flags me over. And I'm like, what? Did he really finesse and talk himself into an appointment? So I walk over and meet the sweetest lady ever. She's like, hey, you wanted to see this bag? And I say, yes, please, I would greatly appreciate that. So I look at my husband and I'm like, yo, is this happening right now? What's going on? So she brings us over to her corner and she starts to show us the bag. And she's like, oh, it's a nice size. And she's giving us the specs and the colors and this and that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. She's like, I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'll go ahead and take it. And she's like, what do you really want? So I go, huh? She was like, what do you really want? And I said, well, of course I would want like a Birkin or a Kelly. I've leaned more towards a Birkin because it's kind of the classic style and it has two handles. I love top handle bags. She was like, okay. She said, have you ever considered a Kelly? And I said, you know, I've looked at it. I haven't extensively researched it. I said, but it's still a beautiful bag. So we went into talking about the Kelly. She went into showing me a bag that someone had brought in that was like almost 100 years old, and you know how much she loved Kellys and this and that. And she was like, well, what colors would you be interested in if, you know, we were to have something like that, you know, one day? And I said, oh, I would love, you know, at this point I'm tongue-tied. I don't know what to say because I'm not expecting this, because it came out of nowhere. It went from us just talking about that bag and the specs and stuff. And then, oh, I skipped the part. So we also talked about why they implemented this system, which I did not know. I was kind of shocked about that. So she said when they had the system where people stood outside, people were sleeping overnight to get an appointment. Also, there was like this, I guess, group of people who would come and stand in the line, and then they'll start selling their spots right before the store opens. So they're selling their spots for hundreds of euros to possibly be the first or second person in the store to heighten your chances of getting a bag. And so they implemented that system to kind of take that control back from people who are taking advantage of prospective customers. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Having that system makes sense. So I was like, okay, you know, so I now understand why it's just like a random selection. You kind of put your name in a jar, and whatever gets pulled that day, that's what gets pulled. So after we talked about the specs of the bag, then we went into why they did that, and then she kind of asked us where we were from and, you know, what we were doing and this and that. So then she started to ask me about what would I want, like in the, you know, the future. So I told her about the Birkin and, you know, always wanted one size 30 and yada yada yada. And then she brought up the Kelly. And, you know, she's saying like, you know, you have kids. I think it, you know, makes more sense to have something that has a strap, and, you know, it's multifunctional. You can hold it on the crook of your arm, in your hand, or you can put it on the strap. And if the strap is long enough, you can do crossbody, or you can buy a longer strap and do crossbody. So I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It seems like the Kelly does make more sense than the Birkin. I said, maybe I should put that on my list to do before I get a Birkin. So she said, she was like, well, you know, let me go look in the back real quick and see what I have. And she can see my eyes get big, and she giggled a little bit, and I was like, okay. So she runs off, and I turned to my husband and I said, what just happened? And he was like, I don't know, but you might be getting the bag today. And I was like, is this the reason why I couldn't find anything in Dior and Chanel and Louis Vuitton? And I was like, is this the reason why? You know, I'm thinking all this in my head, of course, but you don't know what's going to happen, because many people have said they, you know, walk away and they're gone for like 5 minutes and then they come back and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have anything. So she went away and I'm sitting there talking. I'm like, what am I going to do if she comes and this and that? And he's like, well, we don't have to worry about that until she comes back and she has a box. So she comes around the corner and she doesn't have anything in her hands. So she comes around the corner, but then she quickly turns, I guess, to say something to someone. And then I looked at my husband and I was like, well, we tried. You know, she doesn't have anything in her hand. So she starts to walk towards me and I was like, I get it. You don't have anything. And she was like, no, come here. And I'm sorry, you guys, my camera cut off. And I just clutched my chest. I was like, what? And I'm standing there like, what? And she's like, come here, come here. My husband's like, go. What are you doing? Why are you just standing here? Go. And I'm like, oh my God. So we walk over to the room and she has this box. And I'm like, what's in the box? I don't know what's happening right now. And then she opens the box and she pulls this out. And I am like, oh my God. The color is stunning, you guys. The leather is so supple and it's silver hardware. I knew for a fact that I wanted palladium hardware. That was something I knew off top. I love red. Red is one of my favorite colors. I love blues and grays, but this is a pop of color. And I personally feel like if you're going to have a bag of this caliber, it should be a pop of color. And this is it. This is it right here, y'all. I mean, oh, I'm gonna take, there's tape that's still on here, or protective plastic, not tape. I'm going to take that off. Oh my gosh. So, and she pulled it out. I didn't even want to touch it. I'm just like, what? And this is, as I told you guys before, well, I mean, that's assuming that you watched the previous videos, my unboxing. But this is a Kelly 35 in Togo leather, and it's in a red color. In French it means red heart. In French it means red heart. I'll put the name in here because I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. And of course this is the strap, and then this is the lock and key. So let's see, you guys know what the Kelly strap looks like. I definitely wouldn't be able to wear this crossbody because I am a plus size gal, but I can hear my kids in the backyard, I'm sorry. But you know, there's always longer straps that I could get. So it has the Hermes Paris here, and then in the inside, I'm sorry, it had air paper in there. So the inside has two pockets right here, and it has a zipper pocket right there. And the zipper is smooth, of course. And this is leather inside and out. The inside is leather and the outside is leather. That's, you know, it makes it a little heavy, but to be honest, this bag is not heavy for me. Just like, you know, people say that the jumbo is heavy, but for me, because I am a bigger girl, it's not heavy. It's not heavy for me, you guys. But she pulled this out, and the only thing that I could say is yes, yes, yes. Of course, of course. So as I'm walking out of the room, people are like, oh my God, did you score? Oh my God, what did you get? And, you know, people who are scoring, or people who are getting the bags that they want, they're walking around, what did you get? I got this. What did you get? Oh my God, congratulations. And, you know, even the hostesses that like get you wine and or champagne or anything to drink or something like that, they're all like, congratulations, and, you know, all that good stuff. So yeah, what is wrong with my dog? But yes, it was shocking to be able to get a handbag without having an appointment. And I have to say, sorry about the noise. I have to say that that is all thanks to my husband, because he was determined to get me this handbag. He said, no, we're not leaving here without a handbag. He's like, she just wants this. I never asked the lady like, hey, I know I asked for this handbag, but can you show me a Kelly? Never did. She offered herself, and I think she was kind of seeing where I was with Kelly's, because they only had Kelly's that day. They did not have any Birkins. And I talked to like 3 other women who were in there purchasing handbags, and they all had Kelly's. But I'm the only one that was able to get Togo. And all of them were like, oh my God, you got a Togo? I was like, yeah, girl. Because I love me some Togo leather. I have another bag in Togo, and then I have a like agenda type or notepad type thing in Togo. So I love the leather a lot. So yeah, that's my story, you guys, of scoring a Kelly in Paris. Did not have an appointment, all thanks to my husband's perseverance, or my husband's will to want to get me this handbag. We were celebrating our 20-year anniversary of us being together, so I guess he was just determined. His determination got me this bag. And the lady who helps, the SA or the CA who helps with this bag and offered this bag to me, she was very nice. She was very, you know, amazing. And, you know, she definitely could have just been like, oh, here, just get this bag. We're not talking about anything else. This is what you get. You didn't have an appointment. You're lucky you got this. She was very nice. Very, 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 you know, understanding and patient. And she was so excited for me. She was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And, you know, besides my bank acting a fool, I don't know why the entire time we were in Paris, my bank was acting a fool. Okay, we couldn't go to McDonald's without having to call the bank, because they thought it was fraudulent activity, even though we told them that we were going to be in Paris. So, but yeah, my husband got me a Kelly in Paris. It's so crazy. This, they didn't have any of the rodeo charms, or yeah, rodeo charms. So I purchased this in Hawaii, and surprisingly, this went so well with the Twilly that I picked. They didn't require that I purchase anything else. She didn't require that I buy a Twilly or a scarf or a pillow or anything like that. There were no other requirements. She offered this bag to me She was like, you know, if you like it, you know, I love it. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to get it. There was no pressure. We weren't rushed. She packaged it up beautifully for me. Overall, from start to finish, it was a great experience. I would definitely go through that again. You know, there's no guarantee that we can finesse another appointment, but you know, it's definitely worth a try. If you're there and you're into luxury items and you have the funds to pay for this, I definitely would go ahead and do that. I want to say that this was 8,300 euros or 8,400 euros. I will either put a snapshot of the receipt in here or put the number of how much it costs, because I can't remember. I know it was over 8,000 euros. I know that for a fact, but it's still cheaper than what you would pay here. Plus, I got the VAT back on this within a week after returning from Paris, and I received, I think, about $900 back in a VAT return for this. So that's an additional savings on top of that. So I probably spent like 7,000, like 7,200 euros out there for this item. So that's it, y'all. I know this was a long story. I'm so sorry. Okay, guys. All right, cousins. If you are happy for me, leave a comment down below. If you have been to Paris and you've been to the flagship store, definitely let me know your experience. Let's talk about it down below. I know some people have had negative experiences there, but I've been there twice. And both times I've had a good experience. I've had a good experience at my Hermes out here in Dallas. I will say the Rodeo Drive Hermes location, I did not have a great experience there. It wasn't outright just ugh, but it wasn't a, you know, it was nothing to write home about. And you know, it was, yeah, probably I would have that in my top 3 worst experiences though, and in buying luxury. But you know, overall my experience with Hermes has been really good with the Paris location and the Dallas, Texas location. But I am just excited that I have this piece, and I definitely would invest in more Kellys. I still want to get a Birkin. That's still on my list. I think that's going to be next year though, if I'm being honest with you, because here it's going to be full price, which is going to be, depending on the size, between $10,000 and $13,000. So with me in the process of trying to make some other changes here in the near future, I'm going to have to put that on hold. But you know, I'm not in a rush. I am going to enjoy her. So all right, cousins, until the next video, I'm gonna need y'all to be the reason somebody smiled today. I really am. I don't care if it's your mama, your kids, your cousins, your neighbor, that dude that's riding behind you on your bumper and you just like, make him smile. Maybe he'll back the hell up. Okay? So be the reason someone smiles today. And if they're not smiling, give them your smile. Okay? Bye.